to form part of our public service rules in Nigeria.
Nigeria launches national policy on virtual engagements. What is the vision of the new Chief of Army Staff?
Well, the essence is to ensure that now all the benefits of the people, of the soldiers, are given to them.
Hope for improved tax administration as warring professional agencies resolve differences. Also tonight, military takeover, ECOWAS suspends Mali. A very good evening to you. This is NTA Network News. I am Kenan Ima Abodike. We are live in Abuja. Adeola Komiakere joins me from Lagos studio. Let's begin from outside the country, as the Republic of Mali has been suspended from all institutions of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. This is part of the resolutions adopted at the end of a one-day extraordinary session of the Authority of Heads of State Governments of the sub-regional organization. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the decision follows the recent coup d'etat in the West African nation, which violated the Transition Charter. The ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit was convened by the chairman of the Authority of the Heads of State and Government and President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. It was to review the prevailing socio-political crisis in Mali following the arrest, detention and subsequent resignation of the President and Prime Minister of the transition government, as well as determine the next line of action.
I'm thus using this opportunity to reiterate, on behalf of ECOWAS, our continued commitment to the peaceful transition in Mali, with a basic goal of restoring democratic government and working for the stability of Mali and of our region. We must critically examine the dynamics of the current situation and make informed decisions.
At the end of a closed-door session that lasted about 4 hours, President Muhammadu Buhari and the other West African leaders condemned in strong terms the coup d'etat, describing it as a violation of the Transition Charter. Consequently, apart from suspending Mali from ECOWAS, the leaders also insist that a new inclusive government be formed to proceed with the transition program. A new civilian prime minister, they also said, be nominated immediately. The summit reaffirmed the need to respect the transition period of 18 months, stating that February 27th, already announced for presidential election, be absolutely maintained. The ECOWAS leaders reiterated the earlier decision that the head of the transition, the vice president and prime minister should not be candidates for the election. And apart from resolving to accompany the transition process in Mali, the leaders urged the international community to support the country towards the successful implementation of the transition program. They mandated the ECOWAS mediator and former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, to return to Mali within 1 week to engage stakeholders on the resolutions adopted. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari, before leaving Accra, granted audience to his Gambian counterpart, Adama Barrow. Details of their discussions were not made public. President Buhari has since returned to Abuja. Adamu Sambu, NTA News. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Ambassador Babagana Kingibe as a special envoy to Chad and the Lake Chad Basin region with cabinet rank status. A statement signed by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, says the appointment is in consonance with the resolution of the Extraordinary Summit of Heads of the State and Government of the Lake Chad Basin Commission member countries on the situation on the 25th of May 2021. Ambassador Babagana Kingibe is an accomplished multilingual diplomat who have served the nation at various times as Federal Permanent Secretary, Secretary to the Constituent Assembly, Cabinet Minister and Secretary to the Government of the Federation. The Special Envoy will, amongst several briefs, monitor developments in Chad and the Lake Chad Basin region and the reconciliation and seamless progress towards a return to democratic rule at the end of the current Transitional Military Council's rule
and also promote the restoration of peace and security in Chad. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the reconstitution of the board of the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund. This followed the recommendations of a report by the Presidential Joint Board and Audit Investigation Panel set up by the Presidency in 2020 to investigate the infractions of the Public Procurement Act, which led to the suspension of the MD Chief Executive alongside the 3 executive directors. In furtherance of the implementation of the panel's report, President Buhari moved the structural and staff changes in the board and management. Now, Dr. Michael Akabogo will serve as the new Managing Director and Chief Executive, to be assisted by qualified hands from the pool of general managers in NSITF and the sister corporate organizations. The sacked management had also to refund a sum of 181,056,000 naira, being illegal overpayments in salaries, allowances, and others. The President asked the Supervisory Ministry to take all necessary steps to revitalize and reposition the organization to fulfill its mandate. Workers in the federal public institutions now have a national policy that formalizes virtual engagements in the country. At the virtual launch of the policy and inauguration of digital economy projects in Abuja, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Ali Pantami, said the projects align with the priority areas of the current administration and will significantly reduce the cost of governance. ICT correspondent Joseph Johnson reports.
Running government's activities in a post-COVID-19 era can be challenging, especially with some public institutions still grappling with the deployment of digital innovation in their day-to-day services. But that might just be the least to worry about, as the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy has taken the challenge a notch higher with the launch of a national policy that is expected to ensure that government runs its activities virtually.
The policy is going to form part of our public service rules in Nigeria. It is going to be incorporated and accommodated as part of the public service rule. So this is to show to us that from the time it was approved to date, it has been institutionalized that we can do activities virtually.
The policy, which was approved by the Federal Executive Council in October 2020, was developed by the collaborative efforts of the Ministry and the Office of the Head of Service of the Federation, which key players say should be fast-tracked and implemented. Meanwhile, 4 digital projects, including Emergency Communication Center in Akure, Ondo State, and 3 digital economy centers in Delta, Kaduna, and Yobe states, were also inaugurated. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
A stakeholders meeting to review the draft National Multi-Sectorial Flood Emergency Preparedness and Response Plan to reduce the impact of flooding in the country has held at the instance of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk. Ruth Aguele reports.
Yearly, lives are lost, homes destroyed, and sources of livelihoods washed away as a result of flooding in the country. Reports have it that an estimated 7 million people are affected annually. To address this growing trend, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is engaging relevant stakeholders on the way forward by contributing to a draft document that will serve as national framework and guideline on risk reduction strategies of flooding in the country.
This is to paint a picture of how cross-cutting flood issues are in Nigeria and why we are holding a stakeholder review today. Therefore, we are advocating for an integrated flood management approach where flooding is effectively managed using multi-sectoral expertise and flood waters that are harnessed for beneficial purposes such as agriculture, electricity, etc.
The purpose of the plan is to provide relevant information and outline responses arrangement in place.
The objective is to ensure that the 75-page draft plan, comprising 8 chapters, will guide stakeholders to prepare for the mitigation of flooding. In Abuja, Ruth Aguero, NTA News.
Towards repositioning the health sector and give people in Akwa Ibom State a health care delivery system that meets a global standard, Sokoto State Governor Alhaji Aminu Tambuwal has inaugurated the Akwa Ibom State-owned oxygen and vacuum plant in the Itogumbang, Oruan local government area. Susan Asoko reports.
With the knowledge of the importance of oxygen to man, Governor Emmanuel has given Akwa Ibom people a gas and vacuum plant capable of producing 100 metric cube of pure oxygen per hour.
Same time last year during COVID, when we came here to commission this facility, I promise that this will be one of the reference general hospitals we have in this state and probably in this country.
No investment can be better in the future than that of the future of the youth in their empowerment and empowerment of our women. All of this, Governor Odum Emmanuel is doing in Akwa Ibom State.
Senator representing Uyo Senatorial District and Chairman Senate Committee on Gas, Basi Albert, Speaker, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Aniakan Basi, and others thanked the governor for fulfilling his campaign promises and assured him of their support as he works towards building an Akwa Ibom State that will stand tall among the Committee of State. From Oran local government area, Susan Asoko, NTA News.
And now, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has inaugurated a standard microfinance bank in Yola to serve as a point of empowering people against poverty so as to address some of the security challenges bedeviling the society. Correspondent Yusuf Jikari reports that the former Vice President also inaugurated a plastic and sacks manufacturing plant.
The Standard Microfinance Bank Yola is said to have the requisite capacity to render financial services, promote agricultural businesses, and champion the cause of empowering women and youth with world-class banking technology. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar on the event said the vision of the bank is to ensure that everybody is gainfully employed.
Unless we start from our home state, we will not be able to convince other parts of this country that we can defeat poverty. If we can create opportunities for people to be gainfully employed, whether you have been to school or not.
Governor Amadou Umaru Fintri of Adamawa State promised to continue to provide an enabling environment to make businesses thrive.
I'm proud to say that Adamawa State is now very safe for investors. And so we urge investors to leverage on the opportunities expected to invest in the state.
Also inaugurated by the former Vice President in Yola was the Prime Group, manufacturers of woven sacks and shrink laminating plant to include grain sacks, faith, sugar, and printing sacks, among others. General Manager Prime Group Shehu Atiku Abubakar said, apart from creating job opportunities, the manufacturing plant has the potentials to generate $20 billion in 2 years, which will add value in revenue generation. In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Let's quickly tell you that President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the takeoff of the National Senior Citizen Center and also approved the constitution of its 12-member board with immediate effect. A statement from Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says the decision is in line with Section 16(2)(d) of the Nigerian 1999 Constitution, as amended, which mandates the state to provide adequate social services and improve the quality of life of the elderly. Consequently, President Buhari has approved Air Vice Marshal M.A. Muhammad, retired, as the chairman of the board, while Dr. M.M. Omokaro will serve as the Director General. The President also approved the appointment of Ahmed Mustafa Habib as the new Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to replace Air Vice Marshal Muhammad, who is now chairman of the National Senior Citizen Center. The appointments are for an initial period of 4 years. Let's take a break now. The news continues shortly. Do stay with us. Welcome back. As we go to security matters, the Nigerian police has debunked allegations that skirmishes between 8 men and protesters resulted in the killing of Omoyele Sowore, the convener of Revolution Now. The police were attempting to restore normalcy when a group of protesters went on rampage. Abdullahi Mohammed reports.
On arrival at the Unity Fountain this afternoon, we saw that security agencies have already taken over the place. It is calm and the gate is locked. But before coming here, we've been able to speak to some people and they have told us what exactly played out here in the morning.
They here, I see police, they pass here. After I don't see tear gas that blow all of them.
The FCT command of the Nigerian police said the messages being recycled in the various social media platforms is far from the true position of what happened at the Unity Fountain.
We would like to debunk the viral message which purported that a female assistant commissioner of police shot one or more Yele Sowore at the Unity Fountain. Contrary to the speculation, police operatives professionally restored calm at the Unity Fountain.
The police has called on the FCT residents to go about their normal activities with assurances of its commitment to public safety. In Abuja, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
The Imo State Police Command says the killers of Ahmed Gulak have been killed. This is contained in a statement by the State Command Police Public Relations Officer Bala El-Kana. The statement said the police responded immediately. They got the distress call and deployed a team to Obiangu Junction, where eyewitnesses account, especially that of the driver of the vehicle that was conveying Ahmed Gulak to the airport before the attack, gave details that led police to where the hoodlums were heading. The 6 hoodlums who carried out the killings and 4 other members of their gang were fatally injured, while 3 out of the 4 vehicles used in attacking Gulak were recovered after the shootout. Items recovered also include 3 AK-47 rifles, 1 pistol, 5 AK-47 magazines with 92 rounds of live ammunition, and criminal charms. 2 of the police armored personnel carriers were riddled with bullets. Now, a passionate appeal has been made to the federal government to put modalities in place that will ensure safe return of the 136 students and teachers of Tanko Saligo Islamia School abducted on Saturday in Tegina, Rafi local government area of Niger State. Parents and guardians of the abductees made the appeal in Tegina while narrating their ordeal to NTA News. Correspondent Mukhtar Abubakar Wawa, who visited the area, now reports.
We're right now at the Islamia, Saliu Tanko Islamia School, Tegina, where the abduction took place. And with me here is one of the eyewitnesses who is going to tell us what really happened.
I'm a father of 3 of the children that were abducted in this school.
How did they abduct?
All of them were female. The last one is just about 5 years old. Somebody was telling them that there is a school here. Go in, go in. But the number of students registered to the school about 303 that registered with the school. But from the instance of yesterday to today, we have a confirmed figure as provided by the parents. We have 136 as reported by the parents at the children that are abducted by the bandits.
Sorry. The number that came back. Those that were released.
No, they were not actually released. Is that the children cannot walk, cannot catch up with them. So they lived in the bush behind the school, about some few miles from the school.
How many of them?
About 11 of them.
The situation also affected business activities at the busy Tegina Junction, as most of the shops remained closed. From Tegina, in Rafi local government area of Niger State, Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
Very touching. Troops' welfare, entrenching professionalism, and celebrating the gallantry of troops are some of the virtues that our new Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahya, promised to prioritize as he pilots the affairs of the Nigerian Army. The new Army Chief made the promise at a maiden interaction with Army Principal Staff Officers, Field and Corps Commanders in Abuja. He said the task ahead is enormous, urging officers and soldiers to rise in defense of the nation and promised to ensure the formation becomes a formidable fighting force.
What of the essence is to ensure that now all the benefits of the people, of the soldiers, are given to them. Not only that, also to provide them with all their necessary kits and requirements and enhance their training. That is essential.
While assuring President Muhammadu Buhari of the loyalty of the Nigerian Army, Major General Farouk paid tribute to the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, and 10 others who died in the recent clash. The commendable success recorded in the ongoing counterinsurgency operation in the northeast is partly attributed to enhanced interagency cooperation among the services and other agencies in the front lines. The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahya, stated this in a message at the opening of an interagency seminar organized by the Army War College, Nigeria, Abuja, for participants of its Course 5 2021. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
Nigeria is facing different emerging security threats, almost in all its geopolitical zones. The dynamic nature and intensity of these challenges, the military notes, deserves a proactive interagency operational framework.
Collaborative initiatives present potent strategy for espousing measures towards mitigating the increasing vulnerabilities in the current operating security environment.
In dealing with the crisis arising from the actions of actors within Nigeria's geostrategic environment, employing all the elements of national power to counter them is essential. However, the projection of the elements of national power requires security agency, departments and agencies to cooperate and collaborate towards the attainment of national objectives.
Whichever security institution that does not recognize the vital role of the people in guaranteeing security is bound to fail.
61 participants from Nigeria's armed forces, security agencies and allied forces are participating in the Course 5 2021 of the Nigerian Army War College. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Away from security matters, experts say for Nigeria to see the needed development, the economy must have a growth rate of at least 11%, while the economic processes should drive political processes. These were part of the 32-point highlights of the second National Leadership Dialogue Series of Nigerian Prize for Leadership. Haman Jabani reports.
Nigerian Prize for Leadership National Leadership Dialogue Series, first edition, which is expected to last for 7 months, with the general theme of reworking the economy, will look at planning to growth in an increasing national security, enhancing the digital economy post-COVID-19.
Subsidies is an indication of failure. It means your economy is not growing at the pace that is meant to grow because the market is not determining the prices and it's not driving the economy.
Do we take the people into consideration when we are formulating economic policies? Or do we just do this and then see the consequences on the people?
At the commencement of this series that is looking at policy formulation at all levels and how to involve the people, experts say Nigeria's economy have to grow at a rate of at least 11%. Government must invest in tech and youth investment must be promoted.
If we are to rework the economy from policies to the people, we have to have strategic leadership.
That's the improvement, the execution of policies from the community level.
Intentionally, deliberately ensure that the right policy choice are made.
The next series comes up on the 29th of June 2021. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
In education, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB) says only those with genuine proof will be granted an extension, as there will be no general extension of registration closing date for the 2021 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) and the Direct Entry (DE). While noting that some excuses are authentic, the board said a large number of others were caused by fraudsters working against the system, and it shows that another opportunity will be given to those who have genuinely tried to register but had challenges. It will be recalled that factors such as late or non-delivery of national identity number, name verification code, inability to obtain a name, mismatch or wrong names originally submitted to National Identity Management Commission (NIMC) made JAMB shift the closing date of registration from 15th to 29th of May. The board, however, advises all prospective candidates with genuine proof or proofs of failed efforts to register before the closing date or visit any of JAMB's offices for reconciliation between Monday, May 31 and June 15. We now join Lagos studio, and Adeola Komiakere will be guiding us. Hello, Adeola.
Hello, Kenny. Good to see you. Now, prelude to the inauguration of the 156 kilometers Lagos-Ibadan rail line, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, is inspecting the project to ensure that finishing touches are done where necessary. The minister, in company of the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, obviously satisfied, believes that the federal government is set to unlock the most significant gateway for trade and economic prosperity in Africa. Diana Ajali reports.
Despite awaiting commissioning, the double-track standard gauge rail line commenced passenger service in December last year, with the hope of increasing mobility options, preserve Nigeria roads from the impact of trucks, while at the same time facilitate cargo evacuation directly from the Apapa ports. The timely delivery of the project is important to the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, especially as the date of inauguration draws nearer.
We made some advancements, financial advancements from our budget. When we get the loan, then we'll continue from Ibadan to Abuja. Because if you don't finish from Lagos to Kano, it makes no economic sense.
We've gathered experience on Abuja, Kaduna. We have gathered experience on Itakbewari. That experience is something we built on to be used on Ibadan, Lagos.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, on his part, expressed satisfaction on these positive achievements of the federal government.
With this railroad completed, you're cutting down the travel time between Lagos and Ibadan by hours, but more importantly, we are creating jobs along the line.
The Transportation Minister also said plans are ongoing to begin work as soon as possible. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Haulage operators have been urged to reappraise the state of their vehicles as well as ensure compliance with the minimum safety standards. The Co-Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Oboye Oyeyemi, stated this during an interactive session with stakeholders in the maritime industry. Imole Ayotokede Ogunfowora has details.
Lagos State houses the major ports in Nigeria, with more than 70% of cargo movement done by road. In the past 2 years, the areas linking the ports have experienced heavy gridlock, which has affected truck operators and road users. The quest to further mitigate the challenges encountered by haulage operators in the transport sector, as well as proffer solutions to infrastructural deficits and other operational challenges to cargo movement, necessitated this meeting with the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyeyemi.
And to ensure that all the tail lights, the tailboard reflectors, and all the side reflectors will be fully implemented. There will also be access, there will be linkage, handshake between NSC and FRSC on the database.
Part of the Memorandum of Understanding signed by both organizations, the Vehicle Transit Area Implementation Project will provide convenient rest areas for trucks and other road users to ensure safety of lives and cargoes.
We have to humanize or rehumanize the drivers. Some don't sleep, don't have place to sleep and rest and take shower. Some sleep in their cabs, some under their vehicles.
The bill on the carriage of goods by land was presented to the Corps Marshal for review and comments. The Corps Marshal proposed more dialogue and advocacy to ensure issues concerning the roads and trucks are adequately addressed and tackled. In Lagos, Imoli Ayotokede Ogunfowora, NTA News.
I will have more stories on the network news after this time out. Please stay with us.
You can get more news and updates on www.nta.ng or follow us on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now. You can also like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NTA Network News, and also stay connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Also remember to watch our news live streaming at www.nta.ng/live.
Thank you for staying with us. Revenue generating agencies remit more than 1 trillion naira in first quarter of 2021 as OPEC revises up global economic growth forecast for the year. Musa Abubakar has details on business news.
Thank you, Kene. The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission says the revenue-generating agencies in the country made a total remittance of more than 1.5 trillion naira into the Federation account during the first quarter of 2021. The chairman of the commission, Engineer Elias Mbam, disclosed this while receiving a revenue performance report in Abuja. The report revealed that the Federal Inland Revenue Service made the highest remittance of more than 759.9 million naira, while Ministry of Mines and Steel Development surpassed its target for the quarter with more than 891.2 million naira. 496.3 million was also remitted into Federation account as value-added tax for the first quarter. Now, OPEC Secretary General Mohammed Sanusi Barkindo says the importance of the vaccination rollout in overcoming the COVID-19 pandemic and contributing to a recovery in the global economy and oil demand has become more apparent since countries first approved their use late last year. OPEC Secretary General stated this at the 52nd meeting of the OPEC Joint Technical Committee held virtually. The organization has revised up global economic growth forecast for 2021 by 0.1%, while world oil demand is expected to increase by 6.0 million barrels per day in 2021. Barkindo said OPEC is closely monitoring developments related to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action at the meeting. Now to capital market. Equities market closed Monday's trading session on a positive note. The all-share index climbed 0.47% to close at 8,437.88 points and market capitalization at 20.03 trillion naira. 201.9 million shares worth 2.1 billion naira were traded in 3,827 deals. Veristas Capital Assurance PLC, Fidelity and Zenith Bank were the most traded stocks. Well, that's business news. It's back to you, Kenny.
Thank you very much, Musa. In the meantime, the Federal Inland Revenue Service FIRS has brokered peace between professional agencies providing services to the agency. There are the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria (CITN), the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria (ICAN), and the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria (ANAN). Leah Katunga Babatunde reports that the initiative, which culminated in the signing of a memorandum of understanding, was at the instance of the FIRS chairman, Mohammed Nami.
Have elders in a place. The duty of the elders is to guide the children, and that is what you have done.
This will open a greater path for exploring greater collaboration for the benefit of the citizenry.
Whether we like it or not, ICAN, CITN, ANAN, FRS, we are pursuing just one goal, and that goal is to make sure that we increase the dragnet and collect good revenue for this country.
Leaders of the professional bodies affirming commitment for healthy practices and respect for one another, putting to rest the face-off over tax practice, which dates back to 2004, with court cases that have weighed down the performance of tax officials whose membership cuts across ANAN, ICAN, and CRTN. Mohammed Nami thought it wise to put an end to it, and in March this year put together a team across the professional bodies and the FRS to fashion out a lasting solution. That has been achieved with all parties now resolving to work together for common good of the nation.
The money that is going to be saved is just one thing, but let's look at it from the energy that the two agencies, the three bodies are going to be saving. Let's also look at business distraction that is going to cause FRS also. So these are things that cannot be quantified.
With the signing of this MOU, Nami is hopeful that it will give room for seamless and rewarding tax practice in the country, contribute to the improvement of the nation's ease of doing business index, and ease the job of tax administration. In Abuja, Leah Babatunde, NTA News.
Now, the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, has issued award letters for 57 fields in its 2020 Marginal Field Bid exercise. At the Marginal Field Award ceremony in Abuja, DPR Director Awalo Seriki said the DPR is determined to sustain the provision of transparent regulatory oversight for the oil and gas industry to thrive, while creating opportunities for investors. Lydia Sampson reports.
Marginal fields were first established in Nigeria in 1996 in an effort to engender local participation and operation in the oil and gas industry. 57 successful marginal fields offered, the DPR helmsman said, were to companies that had fully satisfied all requirements listed in the marginal field bid. He said though the award phase is over, the post-award is critical and DPL will not relent in close monitoring and guidance to ensure the awarded marginal fields achieve early development.
We expect them to come up with a workable work program, which we will help them as well. We know some of them, they are entering E&P. They demonstrate their capacity and capability. So our own is to lend the experience of DPR to make sure that they achieve and realize the needed return on the investment, because they believe in the economy of Nigeria.
Some of the successful investors applauded the process. They promised to work in line with the DPR stipulations to harness the benefits and contribute to national economic growth.
The impact it will make, this is jobs and more money in the port of the government, creating more jobs, creating opportunities. The government is going to get royalties. If you look at the value chain, this is a lot of money coming into the space of the government and institutions. So we need to commend DPR.
Over 600 companies initially applied for the bid rounds, which began exactly a year ago. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
We'll take more messages now. Please don't go away. We will be right back.
Six years down the line, how has the Buhari administration fared? Governance and development is our focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. It is going to be analytical, incisive, educative, and expository. with those who should know. Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us.
Welcome back. Now, Bade Adeleye will bring us sports update.
Thanks, Kene. Welcome to sports. Let's begin with the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, who has promised to give all necessary support to Ekewuche, who recently became the first Nigerian to qualify for gymnastics at the Olympics. Dare was speaking while receiving the 2019 African Games gold medalist who clinched his qualification ticket at the just concluded African Artistic Gymnastics Championships in Cairo, Egypt.
Thank you, Uche, sincerely, because you have made the flag of this country a symbol of unity and peace to travel very wide.
Excelled with my gymnastics, have gotten the first medal for Nigeria at all African Games, and now I'm on the road to the Olympics.
To football now, the last two match-day 24 games of the Nigeria Professional Football League were decided Monday evening, with both matches ending in draws. Home team Rivers United were picked back by Wiki Tourist in a keenly contested encounter in Port Harcourt, which ended 1-1, while Jigawa Golden Stars and Abia Warriors settled for a goalless stalemate in the other game. And let's move to Spain now, as Spanish giants Barcelona have unveiled their latest signing, Sergio Aguero, who has joined them from Manchester City on a 2-year deal. The Argentine, at his unveiling earlier this evening, revealed that he made a great decision by joining the best club in the world. He officially becomes a Barca player on July the 1st. And finally to tennis, Naomi Osaka has withdrawn from the ongoing French Open after Grand Slam organizers threatened her with expulsion for boycotting the media due to what she calls mental health concerns. The four-time Grand Slam singles champion was fined $15,000 after she did not conduct a post-match conference following a first-round win against Romanian Patricia Maria Tig on Sunday. She has now released a shocking statement saying she will be pulling out in the interest of all, while also revealing she has battled depression since 2018. And let's let you know that Serena Williams has just won her first-round encounter, so she's through to the second round. And that's sports. It's back to Kenny.
Thank you, Bade. We told you earlier that President Buhari has approved the reconstitution of the board of the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund. Now, the new management board is to be inaugurated tomorrow by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige. A statement by the special advisor to the minister, Mrs. Dike, asks the newly constituted members to report at the minister's conference room at Phase 1 of the Federal Secretariat at 11 a.m. for the inauguration ceremony. A report reaching us now says that President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the nation's security and intelligence agencies to expedite efforts towards the recovery of the 200 children kidnapped from an Islamic school in Niger State. President Buhari, who received a briefing on latest incident, condemned as unfortunate the kidnapping of children from schools and urged all the agencies involved in the rescue operation to do their utmost in securing their immediate release. He also directed concerned government agencies to extend all possible support to the families of the kidnapped children. The body of former presidential advisor to former President Goodluck Jonathan, Ahmed Gulak, who was assassinated last Saturday in Imo State, has been laid to rest at the Gudu Cemetery in the Federal Capital Territory. This followed the observation of the funeral prayer for his final interment at the National Mosque, Abuja, after the remains of the late politician arrived at the premises. Family members and associates who paid their last respects to the late APC stalwart described his demise as a rude shock to the nation. They prayed Allah for the repose of his soul and strength for the family to bear his loss. Now, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has condoled with the wife and other family members of late Brigadier General Abdurrahman Umar Kuliya, who died in a Kaduna plane crash alongside the former Chief of Army Staff, late Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, and 9 others. In a condolence message to the family, the First Lady described the death of late Kuliya as a great loss to the entire nation. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports. Well, of course, that report can't be brought to you in full, but then this network is a network news tonight. We'd like to thank you for watching, but please don't forget to be a star with NTA as we wage war against rape and rapists. My name is Kenneth Ima Abodike. Good night.